Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerials podcast, now with the Digital Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot believe this, but this is season 5. So thanks to you. This is a thriving podcast reaching the corners of the world, all the women out there, and I'm so excited and proud to be with you. If you haven't listened to the Artist Entrepreneur podcast, my new podcast with Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie, please check it out. It's going to be on this feed on Thursdays. We're 3 artists navigating our businesses. We have so much fun. Please check it out. It'll be in your inbox on Thursdays. My flagship course, Beginner to Intermediate Aerial Silks, online for anybody in the world. And of course, Aero Rehab, which is meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aero class. Let's get started. Okay, we made it.
Oh boy, yeah, it's been a while since I've had to mess around with Zoom or any of those programs, because it's...
Oh, girl. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about your Zoom. I'm talking about my schedule. Listeners, we have rescheduled this 4 times.
Something like that.
But we're here. Okay. Could you introduce yourself to our listeners and a little bit about where you live, a little bit about your life, your practice, your aerial practice, and then I'll jump in with some questions.
So my name is Anne Marie, and I live in the Madison, Wisconsin area. I'm a first-time mom to a little boy about 7 months old, and live here with my husband and our 3 cats. And I'd say I'm kind of a casual aerialist. Been doing that for about 5 or 6 years.
I love it. Where do you train at in Wisconsin?
In Madison at Madison Circus Space.
Oh, I just had a kid beg her parents to drive her all the way to Columbus to take a class with me over the past weekend. And that is a lot of driving for one class. So that mom gets like best mom award. Wisconsin. I feel like you might be my first person from Wisconsin on this podcast, but I might be wrong. There might have been like 1 or 2. Okay, so let's start from here and go back. How are you feeling today? Are you in breastfeeding mode at all at 7 months out?
Yeah, still exclusively breastfeeding. We just started solids for my son in the last month or so we're just kind of dabbling with that so far. But yeah, I'm still on the hook for feeding him for the most part.
Yeah, how is that going?
Good. It was a little bit challenging at first. Nothing too bad, but the lactational consultants were helpful to get things going.
Okay. And you're first time mom, so everything's new, right?
Yeah.
Me too, when this happened. It still blows my mind that back then it was her only source of food because she wouldn't drink formula. So I remember that being like, not always stressful because she was with me anyway, but like I would go away and my partner would have her and I'd have to go back because she couldn't eat otherwise.
Yeah, that's how it is here because so when my son was born, he took to bottles right away, which was great because I'm sure we'll get to it, but the hospital was a whole adventure and he had to be bottle fed at first. But then around month 3, he just decided, no, I'm not going to take bottles anymore. I just want mom. So currently, if I want to like go into town to train or something, I have to schedule it to feed him right before I go and then come back.
Yeah, I remember that really being a thing, and it's so far gone now in my mind because my kid is going to turn 6 in October, so it's been like, it'll be 6 years that almost that I'm doing this podcast. It's so crazy. Okay, so let's take it back. So was this a planned pregnancy?
It was. So my husband and I, we started trying back in the fall of 2023. We had a pregnancy happen pretty much right away and then unfortunately lost it around week 9 or 10, something like that. Had to go through a whole like DNC for tissue that was not wanting to come out. All that fun stuff, basically. Just meant that, there was like that trauma there when we started trying again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it took a little while to get back on track. And then by May of last year, that's when we found out I was pregnant again.
May of last year. Oh my God. Yeah, like 9 or 10 weeks is really far enough into it to be really like, okay, we're pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course we had
Yeah.
we had just told pretty much all our family like, "Oh, we're expecting," and then like literally the next week, "Oh, we're not."
We successfully moved into our new house here in San Antonio. And as you can tell, I'm recording my podcast in my closet because it seems like it would be the best sound absorption because in a new house, there's like nothing to absorb the sound. I don't want it bouncing all over the place. So I'm in the closet, you guys, like Harry Potter. Not such a small closet, but it's a big closet. But I feel like Harry Potter right now. Okay. So, Anne Marie, so yeah, so far enough in it that you're like, okay, I'm pregnant and had to go through all that. Was it hard to get pregnant on the second try?
It definitely took longer than I thought it would because when we got pregnant that first time, it was like the second month we tried, so it just seemed like, "Oh, great, this is easy, right? Awesome."
Right, right.
And then after the miscarriage and trying again, it was like month after month after month, and then took about 6 months for to finally stick. So which isn't that long in the grand scheme of things, but it's long enough where, especially at my age, where I was 37 at the time, um,
Okay.
and at that age, you just start thinking like, oh man, are we gonna have issues with this? Maybe it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that happens. That goes through all of our heads. I was 41 when I got pregnant. And we were like, we pulled the goalie. We were just, it was a new relationship. We're like, well, if we don't get pregnant, it's not because we didn't try. It's just like it's because it's not that easy as you get older. But so you got pregnant and then, yeah, tell us the journey. How was it? How was the first trimester?
Honestly, the pregnancy for me felt super easy. Like I had minimal, I had some morning sickness, not no vomiting, just mostly like a little bit of queasiness, fatigue, taking some naps. Um, but overall, I felt pretty great. I was still practicing my aerial once or twice a week. Um, and that continued up till about week 27 or 28. Just kind of practicing with whatever modifications I felt good with.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have good support there in Wisconsin at your studio?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Got a good group of friends there who we could train with.
That's amazing. Okay. So you felt good. And then when you didn't feel good, you were like, I'm going to take a little break.
Yeah, so let's see. So I think the last time I went in and trained when I was pregnant, I was on sling and I was just feeling so heavy and just sort of putzing around and I just remember trying to pull myself up and do a diaper wrap on the sling and just like, oh my God, I'm too heavy. I can't do it. All right, I'm done.
um, I mean, a sling is or sling or hammock is just such a good apparatus for this point in our lives when we're pregnant because you can do it for a while. Any complications throughout the second and third trimester? Did you feel good up until a certain point?
Yeah, I was just surprised at how easy the pregnancy felt. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, so I was felt great and knock on wood, it was awesome. And then things were just chugging along until week 36. I went into my midwife appointment and they're like, "Oh, your blood pressure's high. Let's get you to triage
Mm.
so we can get that checked out again." And then I was diagnosed with gestational hypertension at that point. And the midwives there at the hospital triage told me, "We really think you should induce next week at 37 weeks." So that,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that was a bit of we weren't expecting that.
Okay. So you were diagnosed and they said you should induce. Now, were you like one of these people who are like, yes, whatever my doctor says, I'm going to do it? Were you like, let me go find 5 other people to tell me the same thing?
Um, I maybe had a moment where I was thinking, like, really? Do we really have to induce next week? That seems so sudden. Like, is this really necessary? But, pretty much right away, I was like, you know what? It's high blood pressure. I'm not messing around with that. So if they say we
Right.
need to induce, that's what we're doing. We're having a baby in a week. Let's do it.
Right, right, right. Okay, so they induced.
Yeah. So,
And how did this feel? And how was everything?
well, it was definitely a bit of a rough ride. So we went, we went into the hospital on a Monday night, got all settled in. They got me started on misoprostol. Next day, we had to do the the dreaded Cook's catheter, which was awful.
Which is what? Which
It's
is
like where they put a balloon thing into your cervix and then inflate it so that it helps dilate. Yeah, so that was not fun. And at that point, I didn't have an epidural or anything. I had kind of planned to go into birth thinking like, well, we'll see how far I can get without an epidural. We'll just kind of go with the flow. So yeah, the Tuesday was we had the Cook's catheter when we were still doing the meso, and then I think we started pitocin on the Tuesday as well. We were making very little progress, like just a couple centimeters, and it seemed like we just weren't getting anywhere. Meanwhile, my blood pressure kept rising, and then by the Wednesday, they suggested, "Oh, let's try breaking your waters." So I, I got an epidural first, and then they broke the waters, got more pitocin, and at some point on that day, they said I had preeclampsia with severe features. So then they got me started on. Well, I think I had been on blood pressure medications maybe the day before they might have started that, but at some point in there, blood pressure medications. Then they got me started on the mag drip, which is also awful. And then yeah, towards the end of the night that day, I just felt so awful and just exhausted and weak and just starving. And like I was the one who brought up a C-section. I'm just like, hey, we're clearly not making progress here, and I'm out of gas. Like I'm just exhausted. So they did some more checks, and they're like, yeah, we think maybe your pelvic bones are a little too narrow or in the way or something. So they cleared me for a C-section, and then off we went.
Did you have any fantasies about a natural birth before all this started?
I mean, I was hoping for a more natural birth. I myself am a C-section baby, as are all my siblings. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
I was
Okay.
hoping like, oh yeah, maybe I won't have to go that route. Um, but in the end, I was just kind of figured, well, whatever happens, as long as we're both safe, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people go in thinking that they're going to have, a pool of water
Hmm.
and no drugs, no doctors, all this stuff. And then it goes kind of the route that yours went. And then they have to go through like an emotional grieving process. Did you feel like any of that
There,
happened with you?
there was a little bit of that. I mean, thankfully, I hadn't been like gung ho on having any sort of natural birth, but I think I went into it not really thinking like I could end up with a C-section. Like I knew it was a possibility, but I guess I kind of figured, well, I'm healthy and active. I'm sure I won't need that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, I had a low-lying placenta, so we always knew it was on the
Hmm.
table. But I had 6 months to get used to the idea.
Hmm.
Whereas if you're, faced with okay, it might be C-section when you're in the room and that's the first time you thought about it, not you, but
Hmm.
anyone, I think it's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's really hard. I was looking back on our Facebook because the way I scour the internet for you guys is I go through the posts that you guys do on the postpartum
Hmm.
page and you talk about your diastasis.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a little bit of that. Let's see. So after the birth and everything, and finally got back to some semblance of normal. I did this past spring. I did eventually get set up with a physical therapist. I felt pretty good, but I just wanted to make sure I was cleared to go back to aerial. And yeah, at that point, she said I had about about 2 finger separation, which she said was like right on the cusp of being considered significant. Um, but yeah, it's been slowly getting better, and I do my exercises, and it's thankfully it hasn't gotten any worse.
Okay, so the C-section happened and they tear
Hmm.
along that line, right? So regardless of if you had a diastasis within the pregnancy, we're all getting
Hmm.
torn. I got a C-section too. And it's just like I need to do more talking to a doctor about this, but just it going back together just seems like it's chance. Because if you get a C-section, you're torn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you had a C-section, and when they went, what did they do for the exercises? Like, what did your PT give you to try to get that together? Was it just like the corseting exercises that we do all the time and Pilates type of thing, where you're doing the breath work and then just bring your core in on all sides and like holding? Like, was there anything that different from that?
It was things like dead bugs, bird dogs, so like a side plank with kind of a clam motion with on the legs, a
Okay.
resistant band. She also gave me some like modified planks. Yeah, I think that's it.
Is there anything that she had you stay away from? Did she have you do crunches?
Um, she did not have me do crunches, and honestly, I
Okay.
can't remember if she like specifically told me to stay away from them or anything. But she basically, when I was talking about going back to aerial, like I showed her a video of what I do, and she basically said that once I was ready, just pay attention to any extra pressure or doming or anything. Um, yeah, there wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you notice doming when you're trying to invert?
Um, Hard to say because I'm so focused on actually trying to get the invert still at this point.
I know. I know. So your baby's 7 months.
hmm
How long have you been back in the gym?
I went back at around 12 or 14 weeks, so that was I
Okay.
think April or so.
Yeah. And what was that first day like?
Honestly, I was surprised at how I don't want to say easy, but relatively easy and familiar it felt. I had assumed getting back into it, it would just be like, oh my God, I feel like a disaster zone. But um, I got back into it and just kind of felt like, yeah, I definitely feel weaker than before, but it wasn't anything too awful. It just felt familiar again.
Yeah. I think maybe you had your expectations set in the right place. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So where were your inversions, like your straddle inversion? What was it like before the pregnancy and what is it like now?
Now, let's see. Well, I feel like my inversions were never that clean. I mean,
How far were you in your practice before you got pregnant? Like how many years?
about 5 years.
Okay.
And I haven't been taking lessons in the last few years, so I've just been practicing, and I do shows occasionally, but nothing too rigid as far as practice schedules go.
Okay, so it wasn't super clean before, but now does it feel like kind of like it did before or not even close?
It's getting back there. My inverts still feel kind of weak. Like if I'm up in the span set of the Lyra and I want to invert there, some of the times I still can't quite get it without having to like really jump off the Lyra. Um,
Right.
so it's yeah, I'm still working on building back that strength, and for now I'm kind of avoiding some of those moves if I don't need to do them.
Okay. How does your scar feel?
It actually healed up pretty well. I've had, the occasional moment of pulling or kind of a weird nervy feeling, but it healed up super quickly, it feels like.
Okay. And front balance, what does that feel like?
Um, it feels fine. I'm trying to think. I don't do front balances that often, but yeah, I haven't noticed anything real uncomfortable.
Okay. I love it. You're having a pretty good experience.
Yeah, I mean, considering how how awful the hospital experience was, recovery wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Okay. And how about the actual mom part? Are you tell me the good and the bad. Like for me, when I became a mom for the first time, there was a really big identity
Mhm.
shift that I struggled a lot with. Did you have any of that same struggle?
Um, a little bit. I mean, I think when you go through such a kind of sudden, birth and C-section like that, it's kind of hard to feel like you're the one who actually gave birth. It's like, oh, I had a surgery done and my son was born. So it's weird to feel like I had less agency there, and trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here, but I think it took me a little while to really feel like, oh yeah, I'm a mom. I gave birth here.
Do you feel like had you had the baby vaginally, that would have been different? Is that what you're trying to
Yeah,
say?
I think it probably would have been a little bit different.
So interesting. I feel like a lot of women out there might resonate with that. I for sure definitely felt like I gave birth even more so because they had to cut
Yeah.
me. It's so weird. I'm like, look what I did for you, child. The thing that I struggled with is like, especially because she couldn't eat without me, was that I had greater than no autonomy. Like I'm not a solo person anymore because now the person can't eat without me. I think that changed too over time. But at the very beginning, and I had a lot of anxiety after, postpartum anxiety. So that I feel like anxiety makes life just so hard.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's something I have to deal with as well.
How does yours kind of show itself?
I mean, to be honest, I've had anxiety for years, so it's no surprise that it ended up with some postpartum anxiety. But for me, honestly, it was like when my son was born, I just felt really weird about having other people holding him or getting in my space or anything. I kind of it yeah, it was definitely something I had to work through. Um, but yeah, otherwise I mean, postpartum anxiety, it's more of just the usual, like, I'm worried about it. Are we being safe enough here? Are we doing this right? All those little things.
Did it affect your sleep? Do you know?
Never.
It affected my sleep a lot.
Yeah, no, not really.
Okay. Like I would go to sleep and I wouldn't feel refreshed when I woke up.
No, if anything, it was just the newborn schedule affecting my sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. That must be hard though because people love touching babies.
Yeah, I definitely had to work on learning how to assert my boundaries a little bit more, and you know, you'd have relatives over and everybody's playing past the baby, and someone's saying, "Oh, it's my turn" and whatnot. I had to kind of learn to be like, "No, baby's coming back to me for a little bit."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's hard to even, what's hard is both ways because I had my kid 6 months later, it was pandemic.
Oh,
So it's like, those are two different, but on the other side of the wall problems where like, I was like, can somebody please hold my baby? Because there's no one here ever, just me and my partner, and it feels heavy. And then on the other side, it's just like, oh my God, get out of my space. This is not your baby. This is my baby, my partner's baby, my house, you know? But I can understand too from the outsider's perspective. Like my friend just had her grandkid and she just wants to go over there and play with the grandkid. But she's like, I have to respect the boundaries of the new mom. And, she's really sensitive about it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I was in that position, not that long ago. Did you just feel the anxiety or were you diagnosed? Did you ever go and was it bad enough for you to seek out help for your postpartum anxiety?
Postpartum, no. Because yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had anxiety of some sort for years that I've been diagnosed with, so I kind of knew like the feeling and just like, yeah, it's probably some postpartum. So I kind of was used to being able to handle that, but I just didn't. It never was like enough to feel like I needed to talk to anybody about it.
Okay, and it kind of did it wear down, wore off after some time?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. So, are there any huge challenges that we haven't mentioned yet? Becoming a mom, the pregnancy, anything that stands out to you?
Let's see. The only other thing I can think of is that so with dealing with the severe preeclampsia and the aftermath of that, I definitely had some like health anxiety for a little bit right after the birth. Because like I'd never had to deal with something as dangerous as high blood pressure before. So when they sent me home from the hospital, I was still on blood pressure meds, and they gave me a blood pressure monitor connected to like a telehealth systems, and I was supposed to take my blood pressure every day for 6 weeks, report in, and so they could adjust my medication, make sure I'm doing all right. And so it was definitely some health anxiety there of having to monitor that blood pressure and just realizing like, oh, this is actually a serious thing I've had to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's major surgery too. So I always say that like they send the woman home with major abdominal surgery, and in your case, high blood pressure, and then, here, take care of your baby by yourself, which you know nothing about. And my partner went back to work really soon because he had to. So, I mean, it's just a hard time.
It is. And thankfully, my husband was awesome. He just jumped in right away. And I think he's actually the one who taught me how to change the diaper, because the nurses taught him first, because I was just so out of it at first. He had to learn it. But yeah, my husband was pretty awesome with jumping in and taking care of things. And I think he had to go back to work after, I don't remember, a couple weeks. So thankfully, he's able to help out for a while there.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so do you have any advice for the aerial mamas out there who are either trying to balance work-life balance or go back to their training? Anything that you think might be helpful to our worldwide aerial mamas?
First thing I would say is just take things one day at a time. That's how you kind of get through any sort of huge dramatic situation like giving birth and recovering from that. The other big thing I'd say is there's no hurry to get back to aerial, because it's always going to be there. There's always going to be more shows you can do, more classes you can take, more practice you can do. So there's no need to rush and potentially, injure yourself or set back your training. And also, you only get this time with your baby once. So it's okay to totally step back a little bit and not feel guilty about not jumping back into aerial.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Patience is not really one of our virtues. As aerialists, it's just not. Anne-Marie, I really appreciate, number one, you dealing with my insane schedule. I'll let you know when my life settles down, but it hasn't happened yet. So I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitant Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist.